Morning again, everyone. It's Saturday, January 31st, 2026. Good old 710 KNUS. Weather's going to be nice, 56 today, 61 Sunday, and on Monday, 60 degrees. Well, yesterday afternoon, another documents drop on the files and the so-called Jeffrey Epstein files, and people were really trying to get through it quickly. Epstein said Bill Gates, part of this, that he caught a sexually transmitted disease from Russian girls and then had to secretly give his wife medicine. Gates slept with Russian girls, I'll read this to you, got a sexually transmitted disease and asked for antibiotics to slip to his then wife, Melinda. Extraordinary new Jeffrey Epstein files. The pedophile financier made the astonishing claims about the Microsoft billionaire in an email he sent to himself 18 July 2013. That was one. I mean, complaints and all these different things are coming down, and they're more about other people as well. And the only thing these documents demonstrate is Epstein's, his frustrations, what he was going on. Epstein said he was dismayed beyond comprehension by Gates' decision to disregard our friendship developed over the last 6 years. Apparently, I don't know what you do with all this stuff, but it all came down in a ton yesterday afternoon, and I was reading it into late last night. Now, what's interesting about talk radio is the difference between the election claims, which are provable not to be true, and this stuff is all brand new, so it's talk radio. 2020, the election is for old Karens. Well, it's all the way it comes up all the time. So we're back at, at Ralph, right? Ralph in Colorado Springs. Bring him up, if you would, please. All right, Ralph, you're on the air again. Good morning. Try it again.
Yeah. Well, good morning. I mean, the bottom line is what we're talking about here are two absolutely different things, fact and belief.
Oh, absolutely.
And that was what the prior caller was basically having a problem with, is yes, he has a bunch of beliefs.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, fine. But let's get down to where we really are right now. We got two things that I don't think you can say, no matter what your belief is, are not fact. And that's two dead bodies in Minneapolis.
All right.
That is fact. So the question becomes, okay, where do we go from here? And Peter, you're old enough to remember Kent State.
That's what I brought up, Kent State. I used Kent State earlier. Yeah.
Precisely. That's what I was going back to. And fundamentally, remember that it was not just the killings at Kent State. There were two people killed at Jackson State.
Indeed.
And there was another one killed at Ohio State. Mm-hmm. So before I'll say it this way, the fit hit the shan with Nixon, there were 7 dead bodies. Now we have only 2. Hopefully, we don't have to go past the Nixon limit of 7. But I think it's time for everybody to step back and take a look at what they believe.
What happened at Kent, and I thought that about Minnesota. It's a somewhat of a change in the delivery, but it's nevertheless it's the same. When Kent State happened, and Jackson State, you're right, happened as well, and it was the people that had guns and firearms that day. Well, at Kent State, they didn't deserve to have loaded weapons, but they did. But the other part of that is that the summary of these Epstein files, and remember, Donald Trump signed the law that said you have to, now release that there's. I don't know what you do with it. I was up last night reading it pretty late and early this morning reading it again. But the Justice Department on Friday released more than 3 million pages of files. And after Congress passed the law, forcing Donald Trump to do so. And Todd, what the guy's name is, Blanche, I think, was at this news conference, and I watched it, and he said the White House had no oversight of the process. The documents released Friday contain references to Donald Trump, all these other powerful figures, Elon Musk, Bill Clinton, Obama White House counsels. They're all in these things. Now, what do you believe to be true? What do you believe to be false? What percentage do you think is true? I mean, you everybody has a gut on this. What do you do with it?
Well, my gut is basically this. Again, who are you going to believe, Washington or your own lying eyes? Who are the people that are looking at those files? Well, there's Christie, I always tell the truth, no, right? And the other people are also Trump appointees.
Yeah, but
so what do you expect?
They're the Clintons are in on it. There's everybody's in on it.
Oh, I know they are. Look, this is a question of the power elite, to use an old term, in the United States. And one of the things that I think was and probably still is part of the power elite is the right to, how shall I say, have sex with below-age girls.
Well,
it's a question of power. They're powerful, therefore that happens.
The only thing that I really came away with yesterday after reading this morning was I more believe now that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered.
Oh, yes.
Because
that's my belief, but it's only a belief.
Yeah, there are memos.
But ask yourself another question. And again, remember, I'm an old intelligence officer. Ask yourself a question. Was Epstein's island a honey trap?
A honey pot? Yeah, sure, it could have been.
Well,
of course.
I have an older term. Okay, honey pot, honey trap, whatever. But fundamentally, how did Epstein suddenly become so rich? Well, you take a look at I hate to say it, the operating instructions for the KGB or for the CIA.
Yeah.
They're the same. And it's basically, that's how you get power over some other person who is powerful in their country.
Like I said, I have no idea one way or the other. I do know that following the 2020 U.S. elections and Donald Trump and radio talk show hosts and other Republicans, and they didn't want to believe that Donald Trump had lost, so they made up these various twists and turns. Donald Trump got beat. He won 24. He lost 20, and I don't know what this new documents drop will be, or whatever you want to call these things, but they've happened, and not to do a talk show host, not to do a talk show on what has just recently been dropped. I think you're not doing the audience a favor. You're not doing the art form a favor. And I don't know what people want. I guess they want not to talk about these things. But I don't know. I mean,
let me give you just a thought, and I'll stop. But I ended up, how shall I say, intelligence officer in the Air Force in Vietnam, Harvard lawyer. And I ended up doing child custody mediation in rural Nebraska. And there's nothing when you have two parents who are going through a divorce that they believe except how evil the other parent is.
Wow.
And what happened would be that we would get a judge who would basically give them a choice. You can either work this out yourselves through mediation, or I will tell you what you're going to do with your kids.
Yeah.
They went to mediation.
Sure.
Okay, what did we do in mediation? The first thing we had to do in order to get any type of agreement is get them refocused. And the focus that we used, it was the tennis ball that was going back and forth between them, their kids. So I ask you, what is the tennis ball that we have here when we've got two people dead?
No, it's. I think that they're going to get those people out of Milwaukee. They have to, and I don't think anything else happens. Appreciate the call. Thank you very much. We go to John in Arvada. John, you're on a radio show. Good morning and thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Peter. I have a lot of respect for you, but I think you have a little bit of this Trump derangement syndrome.
Because I don't believe because I don't believe an election was stolen.
Yes, that is one of the reasons, and let me tell you why. Forget about all the suitcases that were hidden in the middle of the night.
They weren't suitcases, and you know it.
Forget about those things. What about 100% of the mainstream media, and as well as a lot of Facebook and that? They were all totally aligned with Biden and totally aligned against Trump. The people in this country were not told the truth. They were lied to about Biden, and the truths about Trump were hidden. That suitcase, Hunter Biden suitcase, that was withheld. Given the facts of the media of this country, the media bias of this country, the way that the people in this country were lied to about Biden and about Trump, that in itself is
the media stole the election, or was it physically actually done?
The media had a part in it.
All right.
They certainly did. As close as it was, they certainly did, and you cannot in any way.
Listen, I'm not defending the media. What I'm saying to you is there is no evidence that this eletion was stolen. Peter, you cannot deny that 100% of the media, mainstream media, was pro-Biden. What if the Democrats say 100% of conservative talk radio, 100% of this, 100% of this? What I'm talking to you...
I don't care what they say,
raise
Peter,
your voice,
but look at the facts.
Raise your voice, it doesn't matter. Look, what I'm saying to you is when all these people had these opportunities to walk into these courtrooms, and whether it's the pillow clown or whomever else it was, radio talk show hosts and others, there was no evidence. If there was evidence, don't you think Donald Trump would have presented it?
The evidence, Peter, is plain and simple, right in front of your face.
No, it's not.
People in this country were lied to.
Look,
you don't think there's media bias?
Look, wait a minute. I'm not discussing. I understand what you're saying. What I am saying is, where is the evidence that the election was stolen, other than you don't like the media?
It doesn't matter whether I like the media or not. The media was very biased.
With respect to you, you must have concrete evidence of a steal.
I don't hold. There's again Trump derangement syndrome because
you can make that up if that's your answer, that I'm deranged somehow because I don't believe a lie. So be it.
You don't believe the truth, isn't it? It's not the lie.
All right.
You don't believe the truth.
Anything else?
And also, one other thing about Trump. Trump may have been a bit of a playboy years back, but I don't believe that's his heart today.
Okay.
He's made mistakes, and any one of us has made mistakes, but any one of us can change in our lives too.
Fair enough.
And I believe he has.
I hope so. Fair enough.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Thank you. Patty, you're on the radio show. Thank you, and good morning.
Good morning. I only have a minute or so, but Peter, I did want to just tell you one example of why there are people that believe that the 2020 election had problems. One of them is we started doing the mail-in ballots here in Colorado, and I worked on a campaign in SD19, which is Arvada, and it's a swing district that went back and forth year after year. Edie Hudak was recalled one year over the red flag bill. And it was during 2020, and I was knocking on doors with Lynn Gerber. We were out there. Her opponent was not. She lost by 17,000 votes in a district that only swung back and forth red and blue every other year, 2,000 to 3,000 votes. So I saw an anomaly. Have I had the ability to go back and look at those 17,000 votes? No, I wish I had the time to do that, but I can tell you now, in looking at some of the elections, I know in Arapahoe County, for example, they don't count the paper ballots and match them to the number of votes that go out on the cast vote records. They don't match the physical paper.
Listen, with
all they
Patty,
do.
Patty, again, with respect, you can say you come up with all of these different tales and all of these different scenarios, but it doesn't make the 2020 stolen.
I didn't say it was stolen.
No, that's what they're saying.
There are problems.
Well,
there are problems.
Right. Do those problems lead to victory for the Democrats?
I believe so.
Then you're saying they were stolen.
Well, I'm saying that
Listen,
I will
guys,
say that mail-in ballots created the opportunity to flood the the elections.
If my father had boobs, he'd be my mother. My point is,
Peter, tell me what you think about a 17,000
Ma'am,
vote
I don't. That's the first time I've heard about the 17,000 swing. What I'm saying to you is, I have spent 5 years reading the national stories.
You have spent
let me
5
finish.
years
Let me finish.
agreeing with yourself.
Ma'am.
You've spent 5 years agreeing with yourself.
Well, no. So 5 years agreeing with the truth is something wrong with me.
No, the truth is 17,000
all right,
votes.
Okay. All right. Enough.
In a 2,000 to 3,000 swing district. That's the truth, and I have that.
Okay. Anything else?
I have those facts.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I'm just really sick and tired of you saying that everybody else is stupid.
Well, I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm just saying you're wrong. We go to Jim in Littleton. Jim, you're on a radio show. Thank you and good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning to you.
Well, I'm going to change it up. I'm going back to Jeffrey Epstein. There's a gentleman that's I've been listening to. He's an ex-CIA agent. His name is John Carricow. And he went spend time in jail for disclosing that we did do torture, waterboarding, which as I guess Bush had said that we didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And he came out, and so he spent time in jail.
Okay.
And I will just say that he came out clearly. He said it's definitive that he was a Mossad. Epstein was a Mossad agent.
Oh yeah. Oh,
with
of course.
The approval with CIA. He was not a CIA agent. Nor was he doing anything.
But they call
with,
those
Saudi Arabia.
They call those guys assets.
Yeah, well,
they don't call them agents. They call them assets.
With Mossad.
Well, but my point I'm trying to make to you is, they are not direct agents, but they are assets, and your point's well taken.
Well, I mean, we don't know at what level he was involved with Mossad. I mean, he clearly wasn't a citizen of Israel, but, from the point of view of what his involvement was, they have Ehud Barak, which was, I think he was with Mossad, and now he's spending all that time. Anyway, the point of the matter is it's probably never going to go all out, because CIA will be bloodied as well, and that's not going to work for them. And they're going to pull the trigger of not letting that be disclosed.
One of the things that I came away with, it was late last night, and I thought had come to me earlier, and I'm reading these, we'll call them documents, and what came clearly to me was, this is more evidence that he was murdered.
Oh my God! I mean, if you don't believe that, then you obviously believe our government is perfect.
Well, no, my point is that whatever Epstein had or knew, they had when he came back into the U.S. and they grabbed him, because he thought he could come back in and then leave again, but he came back in and they grabbed him, and when they had him in the tombs, and then that these people, if you look at this list of, if you look. apologize. I think we saved a caller. It's Saturday, the 31st of January, 2026. I'm Peter Boyles. This is Radio Free Denver, good old 710 KNUS. Jim, did we save you? Did I save you? All right.
Come on.
Got you, brother. All right. You were saying, and then we were talking about Epstein, my belief of him being murdered, and was he an asset for foreign governments? And I think the answer is pretty clear. He was a lot of things. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, you know, the big question is when you look at linkage here, Bill Barr's father was very involved. And you look back how his father was involved, and he had touched Jeffrey Epstein as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's so crazy on how all these people seem to be intertwined with each other.
I agree.
It's scary. In many ways, it's very scary how one generation follows the next one.
But isn't that evidence of something that's called the deep state or the establishment?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This country has transformed itself into, there's not, we may go to the polls to vote for people, but determining who we vote for is predetermined in so many ways.
But it's like the guy critiquing the media. This is my sense of the media. The media doesn't teach you or show you what to think, but it does show you what to think about. And there's an agenda to what I've watched for ages in the media, and it's to set the bar for what you should think about, not for what you should think or controlling your thinking, but rather what you could think about. Now, Epstein, I've read books about Epstein, and I'm certainly not an expert, but a reader. And what I see is this guy, and I'm sure he's not alone, that there's been plenty of guys like him, but this guy had a sexual perversion that many of these other, monarchs and players and movers and shakers didn't have. And then plus he shared it. So he tapped into the sickness of these men, Gates and others, and brought them in. So
yeah, but Peter, be clear, he wasn't a pedophile. He was not a pedophile.
Who? Epstein?
Epstein, yes.
Then what was he?
Okay, there's different levels. Pedophile is prepubescent. None of the girls that were in his circle were prepubescent.
What's 13 years old?
Well, I think they call him hebephile, and they have these different ones where he's pubescent girls that he had, but he wasn't by definition he was not a pedophile.
It's first I've heard that.
Look
Go
it
ahead.
up. It's very. Megyn Kelly had a DA on there clearly explaining. So he was skirting the law on that aspect.
And look, a 13-year-old girl, please, come on.
Well, I'm just going by the law's definition. It's, a pedophile is prepubescent. None of the girls that have come forward were prepubescent. So anyway, I'm just going to say, there's a lot deeper state, if you look at what's gone on, you clearly were always stating JFK was assassinated by our government, probably
by rogue elements,
right.
and plus organized crime.
And same thing with Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy.
No, because there's a really excellent book entitled Hellhound on His Tail. And the hardest thing to do is explain away James Earl Ray and how he was able to move and do what he did. And he's difficult. And he's clearly having more than enough help. He's got a car,
right.
He's got a passport, he ends up in Spain. I mean, how does he do that? Now,
right.
I mean, and he could have very easily. His brother actually believes that he killed King for the money. He thought he was going to get a tremendous amount of money for killing Dr. King, where Oswald played for no money at all. He was the true believer, but who was he with?
Well, I think there's linkage showing the mob as well as also he could be. Ruby had a affiliation also with Israel. There's that. So it's the same players all the time, and I'm just wondering. We don't really know what happened. There's two things that really are a big question: the largest mass murder in Las Vegas. We've never gotten information of that.
Agreed.
That one's a big O. Yep. We don't know, and I believe the government. This guy had some sort of affiliation with the government, and he went rogue. I also believe the assassination attempts on Trump.
Yep.
I believe there are certain guys in that, especially that kid on the roof. That we've never gotten a clear explanation. And think about this. Dan Bongino resigns from the FBI.
I want to know why.
I'm out.
I want to know
I'm
why.
telling you right now, he could not clean it.
Well, here's what I think Bongino could be, is if you follow Watergate, and it wasn't until the president's lawyer stepped out, and when that happened, then he was the key to all of it. And John Dean is his name, or is his name? He's still alive. John Wesley Dean. John Wesley Dean II. And when he came out and talked about, not about taping, because taping had been talked about before, but what they were doing. And remember the cancer on the presidency. John Dean, someday if we ever meet, I'll tell you what Gordon Liddy told me about John Dean. And I don't want to do it on the show. But the point of it is, when he did that, that was the lodestone. And if this is running a Watergate-esque presence, and we're watching these things happen, and when people started to really worry and really give up what happened, then there's a whole other world happening. Now, I don't know what yesterday afternoon was about, but it was there's clearly more than one or two things that got dropped yesterday, and they're pretty brutal. Now, I read you this text message. Peter, every time you open your mouth about the 2020 election, you make the case of people accusing you of having TDS stronger. It's almost impressive. Well, the interesting thing about the truth is it doesn't care. I mean, the truth really doesn't care. And
I'll just say this: I trust Tulsi Gabbard, and I think one of the few people in the Trump administration I feel will not bend to him is her.
She's trying to get back in his good graces right now, and
that may be the case, but I don't think she will do anything illegal or nefarious. I mean, she is not loved by any part of either party. She is not loved by.
There's a reason Bongino quit, and he used to do the radio show with us all the time. And there's a reason he quit. I'm telling you.
And he left very quietly. I'm telling you, there's a lot more to that story, and I don't know
I agree.
What the deal is, but I think he uncovered some things, especially with Epstein. That guy was on Epstein like white on rice, and now he's quiet about it, and now they say there's no more stuff. I'm telling you also, Pam Bondi was involved also with Epstein in that whole thing going down there. She was protecting them too. I mean, it's all over. It's disgusting.
Take care of yourself. Thank you. We'll go here. One line's open. Brad, you're on the radio show. It's a Saturday morning. Thank you.
It's Friday.
It's Friday now, right?
That's right. Hey, listen, thanks for having me. I just wanted to know if you knew what an undeliverable ballot is.
I've heard the term, but I don't know. I couldn't give you a working definition.
Right. I'm going to go real quick on this. So, you have primary, clerk and recorder, orders ballots to be printed. Those ballots are printed and hand-delivered to the post office. The post office then sets them up for staging. During that whole process, there's no custody. We don't have access to them. Only those contractors do, the printer and the post office.
And?
We go through the primary. The ballots get mailed out. We now know who is undeliverable because the ballots came back, or we know the people have moved because they have a change of address.
Here's the brilliance of your statement. Then why, in all of these different cases that people paid off millions of dollars, Why didn't their law firms come and get you and bring you in as a witness?
This is great. Let me finish.
Right.
I appreciate the question.
All right.
The clerk and recorder is supposed to get the undeliverable ballots back. They're not getting them back. We know that because in beautiful Douglas County, we found out that our clerk and recorder, under Heidi Ganahl, did the investigation, found out that we're not getting them back, and we lose an election by 400 votes in House District 43.
Who stole them?
Now, that's the greatest question of all. We can't look under the hood. We're not allowed to go into the post office, and we're not allowed to go to the printer, and we're not allowed to see the process, which the law says we should.
Donald Trump claimed the 2020 presidential election was stolen, still claims it. Millions of Americans apparently believe him. We look at the most prominent statistical claims made by Trump, his allies, talk show hosts, and others as evidence of election fraud, including Dominion voting machines, switching votes from Trump to Biden, high turnout in Democratic strongholds, supposedly inexplicable failure of Biden to win bellwether counties, combinations of statistical and statistical reasoning and original data. And it doesn't, look, I'm telling you from the bottom of my top 40 heart, Brad, if I thought that there was an inside job, if I thought that somebody stole it, I would say it. It doesn't have a damn thing to do with whether you like Trump or not like Trump. It's, did they steal an election? The answer is no. I can't find it.
So, Peter, I appreciate that comment, and you know, the issue is we're not allowed to look. We're not allowed to look at the ballots to see if the mail-in ballots are folded. We're not allowed to see them. We can see the digital image, but we can't touch the ballot.
Do you think that the Republicans actually won Colorado?
I think there's a really good chance that the Republicans had a fighting chance to have won. Heidi Ganahl single-handedly uncovered it, and now it's all being swept under the rug because of the people who manage the Clerks and Recorders Association and all the things that go there.
With love in my heart, the Republican Party hadn't won squat in Colorado for, what, 16 years, 17 years?
Pretty much since Prop 108, yeah.
Nobody.
Pretty much.
Do you think that? Do you really think that Hickenlooper stole the Senate or that Bennett stole the Senate?
I'm telling you, there are gears in place here. And I'm a very highly political, organized guy. I'm a volunteer. I'm knee deep in this stuff all the time. I've been a vice chairman of a political party. I'm a chairman of a Senate district. I'm highly involved, and I'm telling you, it stinks to high heaven, but we can't go in and look, and we should be able to.
Do you think that Hickenlooper did not win the Senate? Do you think?
I am telling you, there's enough discrepancies.
Oh man,
there's enough dead people voting in multiple states that it is large enough to change the outcome.
Wow. I've spent 5.5 years, including having my family threatened. The analysis.
Well, I'm sorry for that.
No, it's all right.
No one should go through that.
No, that's all right. I know who's behind it.
And I have too. I know what's going on. I understand and I feel your pain. I was the vice chairman of Douglas County Republicans whenever Larry Wayne Lindsay burned his voter registration and went on national news, and they came after me. They stole my money out of my bank accounts. I had the FBI at my house. I had death threats. They said my kids would never make it to school. You know the drill.
I do.
And we had to sit there and endure all that because they said that Ted Cruz, the fix was in, and Trump was furious at us. And Trump made a phone call to Larry Wayne Lindsay, found out Larry never went to county assembly. He went to the caucus, skipped the county, showed up at state with his TV cameras.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen it all. I'm right there with you. But I am telling you, as someone who has boots on the ground and volunteered for 24 years, it is broken.
I'll tell you.
And to say it's not, it's just you're not involved enough. Go to a polling station this year. Go volunteer at a polling station, and then you come back to me and tell me it was perfect.
What I would like to see the way that I voted as a kid, where you vote on one day, there's paper ballots, you have to show identification. I would wish for all of those things. I wish they would come back immediately. But what I'm saying to you is I've spent a long time, and I have looked at it, and I've been the receiving end of it, and I've been set up on all kinds of different things because of the position I staked out. And where are these people now? They're gone. Where are they? Where are? I mean, you can't look at the pillow clown or any of these people and say that you found something that is a firm, strong reason. These guys are look. Donald Trump said it, and they believe it. Donald Trump claimed that 2020 was stolen. Millions of Americans apparently believed it.
Let's focus on local, Peter. I understand there's a lot of anxiety about the federal. But if you look at local, did you know we don't even know if a signature is handwritten or printed? We don't look and see if the ballot or the envelope has an indentation. The computer doesn't look for that. Now, why would that be? Why would our systems, who does, like if I sign a check and it goes through the process of verification at the bank, the bank knows whether the check was printed or handwritten. Go ahead.
On the mark, did Jared Polis steal the election?
See, you're just going out. You're just going out for Lisa Bound.
No, I'm not. I
want to focus on the local problem, Peter, and that's what you want to keep going out. And if you want to keep going out, it's just too big of a conversation to have in 3 minutes.
No, you can't.
Locally,
did Polis steal it? 56, 710 KNUS, Denver's talk station. Look, any evidence of widespread voter fraud? No. To start, Seminole win. Oh, good pick. Credible sources have drafted fact-check reports and studies. I've read a lot of them. These are included above in a so-called list of resource sections. For the most part, the Trump legal team did not even dare bring fraud cases into court because of lack of evidence, raising unproven assertions, and then claiming they represented a widespread problem. We've just been hearing it. It's the playbook. Even Trump-appointed officials, William Barr, who was then U.S. Attorney General, acting U.S. Attorney in Northern Georgia, who was appointed as part of Trump's effort to more aggressively investigate allegations, ended up concluding there was no election irregularities. President Trump famously fired Christopher Krebs, who headed the U.S. government's office monitoring the security of elections, and then concluded the 2020 election was the most secure in American history. I don't know why we do this. I don't. And I know you want to yell at me and call me names, but this is Gary. Gary, you're on a radio show. Here we go again. Good morning.
Peter, I won't call you a name.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about, everything that Dementia Don is going to do between now and November are for one of two purposes. One is to influence the midterm elections,
yep.
and the second is to distract.
Well,
the first one, this current thing with subpoena the Georgia ballots.
yes.
That's about the midterms, and he has the DNI, and the Trump insiders are saying that means do not invite, because Gabby is on the out, so he assigned her because he knew that she would do some crazy stuff to motivate the crazy base, many of which have been calling you this morning.
I mean, there is no evidence. If there was evidence, I certainly wouldn't hide it on a radio show. For the most part, Trump's legal team did not even dare bring fraud cases in court. And again, you look at guys like William Barr, who was then U.S. Attorney General, and the acting U.S. Attorney in Northern Georgia, who was appointed as part of Trump's effort. They concluded the 2020 election was the most secure in U.S. history. Trump fired Christopher Krebs. The machines didn't steal anything. I know that this isn't what people want to hear, but the voting machines didn't switch thousands of votes.
No, Peter, what you're saying is what I want to hear.
Well, I know, but
I want to hear.
I'll read you one of many texts this morning. Peter, I believe there's a good chance that 2020 was stolen, but to paraphrase you, that's belief as opposed to knowledge, just like you and I believe the 1960 election was stolen. No, there is evidence of that, Tim. There is more than overwhelming evidence of what happened in West Virginia in the primary and what happened in Cook County. Evidence. There's a big difference.
Right.
You can't bring that evidence into a courtroom. The reason that Nixon, it was Bobby Kennedy went to Nixon. Nixon could have demanded a recount, but he wasn't really a psychiatrist. He was a general practitioner, but they painted him as a shrink, and Nixon couldn't afford it, and he backed away. He told people he didn't want to upset the country. The truth was, Bobby Kennedy, who was a fill in the blank that begins with a P and ends with a K, and he said, I will out you for seeing a shrink. And that was an impossible thing to do at the time. You think Tony Soprano was having a hard time seeing a shrink. You can't imagine in the Republican world in 1960 what would have been for Nixon to have been outed, and he also was taking pills. That would have ended his career. And that's what happened. And it's
Yeah, Peter,
it's all evident. I mean, it's evidence.
Right. And can I just bring up one other topic real quick? And this is facts, so it's something we can actually agree on. You know, Donald Trump had a cabinet meeting televised on, I think it was Wednesday, and he said, I just talked to Vladimir Putin, and I asked him to stop bombing Ukraine because it's winter and they don't have any heat. And he said, and Vladimir promised that he wouldn't do that. And then 1 hour later, Peter, 1 hour, 100 drones bombed Ukraine. And that to me was one of the more eye-opening events this week. I mean, I don't know how many times Donald Trump is going to continue to believe what Putin says, because he's just playing Don like a chump.
Well, look, there's a relationship with all of these people, and there are moments that Donald Trump and Putin really flare, and there's moments that they get along. I think that's pretty much standard. I don't know. I don't see anything that really is that detrimental. Donald Trump is having some troubles right now. I don't think there's any question about that. And
they're sweating the midterms.
Sure they are, but they always do. Every sitting president sweats the midterms. Everyone, whether it's Donald Trump or Joe Biden, if Joe would even remember, or anything, they sweat the midterm elections. They're not. It never comes their way. It really doesn't. I thank you. 303-696-1971. Be honest, buying winter sports equipment can be overwhelming, and that's why you need true experts, not kids, on temporary holiday jobs. You need John and the staff at Larson Ski and Sport, Paul and everybody. They live and breathe the slopes. They walk you through the great selections of skis and snowboards and jackets from name brands like Ride and Nitro and Vans. Make sure your boots fit right, your bindings are safe. The new jacket keeps you warm at 12,000 feet. You rent or buy, and you always get the best advice. Larson's, the large wooden building just south of I-25 on Kipling. You're westbound on I-70, get off on the Kipling exit, come down the ramp, make a left, go underneath I-70. A tunnel goes under I-70, comes out on the other side. Look to your right, look to the west. See a big wooden building. 7 days a week, it's there, and they're open 7 days a week. Get the best advice, get the best gear. Stop in today. Let them know Peter Boyles sent you. You will not be disappointed. Larson Ski and Sport on Kipling, south of I-70. Again, 303-423-0654. 303-423-0654. Check them out online, Larson Sport, Larson Sport.com. Larson Sport, Ski and Sport, south of I-70 on Kipling. 303-423-0654. Learn to read. 303-423-0654. It's Larson Sport. All right, we had another hour of open line straight ahead. We have first time since the show started at 9 o'clock, lines are wide open. 303-696-1971. So yesterday afternoon, this documents drop happened, and Jeffrey Epstein says Bill Gates caught sexually transmitted diseases from Russian girls, and it goes on, and it goes deeper, and it goes wider, and it goes nastier. What do you do with this? All right, here's John. I'll see you on the other side.